This is the look ahead on VSIN, the sports betting network.
Hit the court for your cut of the cash with the FX Snowfall Kingpin Challenge. Play free in 2 fantasy hoops contests and battle for a share of $15,000 in total cash prizes while the fight for LA rages on during Season 5 of FX's Snowfall. Head to DraftKings.com/snowfall now to get in on the action. Snowfall returns February 23rd on FX. Stream on Hulu. Terms and conditions and other eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com for details. Scott Seidenberg back here with you. It's the look ahead here on VSIN, the sports betting network. We head out to Cleveland now, site of the NBA's All-Star Weekend. We welcome in Zack Price, host of the Denver Sports Betting Show. Zack is a Cleveland native, so this weekend was very, very special to him, of course. What's going on, Zack?
Oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be here, man. When I say here, I mean VSIN also, but I mean Cleveland because this is where I'm from. Cleveland is the city where I come from, so run. I've been waiting for this moment for 25 years since the last time I was here to bring all the stars. It was like a dream come true to watch all those guys on the court at once.
And also the 75th anniversary team also. So you got to witness the all-time greats to ever play the game all in one building. And then, of course, LeBron James closes it out. I know Steph had the night with the 16 threes, the 50 points, and he was the MVP. But really the only one that could have ended that game was LeBron James.
Well, you know, Scott, I think the only NBA 75 player that was a Cavalier was LeBron James. Out of all the 75 guys, I think the only one that played for the Cavs was LeBron. So, look, he's like the chosen one from our town, from Northeast Ohio. We love LeBron here. I watched him play against my high school when I was younger. And so I've been watching him since he's been 14 years old. And I'm not going to lie, I had a couple of tickets on LeBron James for MVP. I know a lot of other people did too. He didn't win the MVP. Look, what Steph Curry did, I was just in awe watching it. I think my phone battery died recording videos of every shot he took. But LeBron James closing out the game with that kind of, Elon finish with where they had to reach a certain amount of points. It just was fitting. The All-Star game seems to always have like a nice little dream ending or like a dream theme to it. And so if LeBron's not going to win the MVP, at least let him close the deal with the game-winning shot.
Yeah, big moment for him. On Saturday night, the three-point contest was fun. Karl-Anthony Towns wins plus 1,200, the longest odds, the biggest underdog to win the contest in at least the last 10 years, if not ever. And then the dunk contest goes to Obi Toppin of the Knicks, in what could have been considered a lackluster event. You were in attendance. What did you make of All-Star Saturday night?
Yeah, so if you can see my jersey, and I'll stand up so you can catch the number, this is a Mark Price jersey. So my name's Zack Price. I grew up in Cleveland. My dad's name is actually Mark Price. So I know all about that three-point shootout. He won it 3 times, Mark Price. We know Larry Bird's won it 3 times. I was shocked, as I was going, I have this Denver Sports Betting Show, and I was giving my listeners, I was going over the three-point contestants. I was shocked to see Karl-Anthony Towns on the list. But I do bring in great guests, just as you bring in great guests to your show. And one of my guests pointed out that Karl-Anthony Towns actually was shooting in three-point contests in middle school. This has been something fun for him. And so even tonight, Scott, when I was watching the pregame and even at halftime after the celebration of 75 greatest players, Karl-Anthony Towns was out there shooting three-pointers when no one else was around. So we gave him out on our show as a long shot to win because there was no Steph Curry, there was no Larry Bird, Craig Hodges, or Mark Price shooting out there. It was open for the taking. And I had a front row seat, more like a 7th row seat, but it was close enough to watch. That fun, he's got that set shot. And when you're doing the three-point shootout, you don't want jump shooters. Because they get tired. You want a set shooter, Karl-Anthony Towns, 7-footer, just stroking it. He got hot, and in the contest, you just got to get hot in one time, and you could be the champion.
Absolutely. Now when it comes to the future outlook for the rest of the NBA season, about 23, 24 games left or so. The Chris Paul injury, sure, it's going to have an effect on the Suns, but they're pretty much locked into the 1 seed. They're 6.5 games up on the Warriors. They're not going to lose that lead. But does it sour you a little bit on the Suns now going into the playoffs? if the first time we're going to see Chris
Yeah, so
Paul back on the floor is going to be in that first round?
yeah, I was at the game getting the news and kind of like pacing out 8 weeks from today, and they're not going to rush him back. There's no way. They have the lead. Even if they lost that one seed to the Warriors, they're in great position with home court. Does it sour me at all in the Suns? It really doesn't, because Chris Paul is a veteran. He's been around the block. He's not a big man. He's a little man, and so he doesn't score a lot. He distributes the ball. So get him on the court. His mind is the most important thing, not his body. When he gets in that fourth quarter, he knows exactly what to do with the ball. He knows exactly how to run the offense. And you know what? In the fourth quarter, he'll save that energy. If he needs to score, he'll score. But he's got the big man DeAndre Ayton down low to feed. He's got Devin Booker running around, one of the best scorers in the league. So I will expect the Suns, futures to go up from 4 or 5 to 1, maybe to 6 or 7. I expect that. But you know what? The Suns were disrespected all of last year. I was buying them at 60 to 1. In fact, they played the Lakers in the first round. They were the 2. Lakers were the 7. The Lakers won the first game, and the Suns dropped to 60 to 1 again. They went all the way to the finals and won the first 2 games in the finals.
Yeah, I
know.
know.
They should have won the NBA championship last year, Scott. And so they're not being respected at all. I think this might give everyone an opportunity to buy the Suns futures if that number goes up.
Yeah, I know. I had Chris Paul to win the Finals MVP last year, so that was kind of bumming me out when they lost after winning the first 2 games in the finals. Yeah. But in the Eastern Conference, is there a team based on the odds right now that sparks your interest?
Okay, so well, first of all, I think the Bucks are the class of the East now. I became sort of famous on Twitter, Scott, for championing my Cleveland Cavaliers at 1,000 to 1. I was buying them. I would cash over $1 million if they win the championship. Okay, but I did call them the best team in the East. And Scott, I am anti-Nets. I have not believed in the Nets all year, even before the Durant injury, before Harden demanded a trade. The Nets, I'm almost writing off, okay? I know it's shocking to everyone in media to hear me say the favorite in the NBA at some sports books. I'm almost writing them off. The Bucks are the class. The Nets at these odds, I will never touch with my money. I wouldn't put it down. The Chicago Bulls, I feel like, aren't getting any respect. I've seen them out in Vegas at the Superbook at 50 to 1. So they have a big man, Nikola Vucevic, and they have DeMar DeRozan, who's playing like an MVP. He's playing like Michael Jordan. And, of course, Lonzo Ball is going to be coming back, and he kind of rounds out that 3-guard set that they have with Zach LaVine, one of the best scorers in the league. Saw him do some magical things tonight with some dunks. He, of course, was in the three-point contest, so he can do it all. I like the Bulls at that number. Of course, the Cavaliers I do like, but I'm a little concerned they don't have a closer. They just picked up Karis LeVert. I want to see them close out some games in the fourth quarter. Darius Garland, really become a veteran scorer. He's not quite there yet. He's a great scorer, but I want to see them close out some games before I got a great number on the Cavs, so I'm not buying at this point. So I do like the Bulls at this number. Anyone else? I think people are getting a little too high on the Celtics right now. The Raptors, I don't think, can pull it together and win the East. The Hornets, I love LaMelo Ball. He's my favorite player to watch, but they don't have the experience. So right now I'm looking at Bulls, I'm looking at the Bucks, and of course I'm looking at the Sixers because they've got the big man, Joel Embiid. I know they've got Harden too now, but it's all about Joel Embiid there. Harden is just like a piece of the puzzle. Their odds, again, I think have dropped too low. I think the trade forced the public to kind of pile on the Sixers. So based on the odds, I'm going to go with Chicago Bulls.
Yeah, the Bulls right now up on DraftKings plus 1,400 to win the Eastern Conference. I like them at that number, and I already bought in on the Miami Heat plus 550. So hoping that maybe one of those 2 teams comes through. Speaking of the big man for the Sixers, Joel Embiid is the favorite to win the MVP. I've got a 50 to 1 ticket on DeMar DeRozan. I'm really hoping that thing comes through, but I'll admit it's going to be, in my opinion, probably Joel Embiid. What about you? What do you think about the MVP market?
50 to 1, Scott. I got a DeMar DeRozan at 500 to 1 before the season started. And I have Joel Embiid at 40 to 1. I was on VSIN Philly Cast with my guy Ryan Rothstein, and I gave out in the middle of the show. I stopped the show when he told me Joel Embiid was 40 to 1, and I bet it all live on the show. He's the front runner. It's all about Joel Embiid staying healthy. I'm in Denver, not right now, but that's where I do my sports betting radio show. I'll be back there this week. Nikola Jokic has the best stats in the league. He won the MVP last year, and his stats have gotten better. So they need to pile on some victories, maybe get Jamal Murray back, Michael Porter Jr., maybe play like the guy they paid him to play, and they could make a late run. I don't want to count out the Joker, man. He played phenomenal tonight, too. But Joel Embiid's the man to beat. He's the most dominant in the league. And I think if he just sticks to the plan and the Sixers pick up some wins with that Harden acquisition, he's going to take this thing down. I know the odds are short right now, but I think Joel Embiid can take this thing down.
Hey, 40-1. Get ready to celebrate that thing with a ton of cheese sticks. Zach, appreciate the time. Enjoy the rest of the time in Cleveland, and we'll catch you on your Denver show.
I appreciate you having me on. Everyone have a good night.
There he is, Zack Price, the Denver Sports Betting Show. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Follow on Twitter @ScottsOnAir. It's the look ahead here on VSIN.